Hello, every beautiful, beautiful, beautiful being who's here. Welcome. Welcome to connecting with ancestors and moving through grief with tea. I'm just gonna let the live to pop up and settle in for just a moment here, and then I'll dive right in. I'll dive right in. And if you're here watching, say hello, send me an emoji, say hi, whatever it is that you feel called to do. I would love to just connect with your energy as well. And Samhain blessings, beautiful, divine, wise woman, whoever that's watching, thank you for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I hope that today you are able to honor your ancestors, honor all your beloved ones, and just move through this beautiful portal with this beautiful, beautiful, blessed energy. I've got a candle here. I'm just gonna light that up. It's getting dark so early today here already. Our clocks went back yesterday, and it just feels strange because I always feel like, you know, daylight saving feels like a man-made kind of thing, and it just doesn't feel real to me. So my body is actually taking time to adjust to the one extra hour that we have. But you know, we play with the dualities of being here, living in this dimension, and also understanding a bigger context of who we really are as a timeless soul. So, beautiful presence. I'm just lighting this candle with all my heart and all my compassion and love for you, and I truly just want you to receive this divine light wherever you are. May it light you up. May it light the way forward for you. May it bring you all that you desire. And I truly understand. I truly know. And I know you are meant to be doing this. You're meant to be here. And everything is happening for you. So let's move with this strength and clarity. And let's dive deep into that with the support of our ancestors. And that is what we're here to talk about today. I'm just going to put this down. So, connecting with ancestors and moving through grief are two things that I do very deeply in the work with tea as a medicine and spirit. If you're new in my world, welcome. My name is Li Ying. I am a Cha Dao ceremonial keeper. Cha Dao is the way of tea in English. And I work with tea as a spirit and a medicine to help women to really live on purpose in their own authentic power. That reconnection deep within themselves is also really the underpinning transformation I desire to really bring to a woman who comes into my world. I want her to really embody that vortex of stillness and really know that every dream she has can be manifested from that stillness. It is a feeling of certainty, it is a feeling of connection, it is a feeling of presence beyond this dimension, because it is important for us to understand who we really are first and foremost and work from that context. And what I mean is that once we understand what we're made of, which is energy, once we understand that we are all these mini versions of the cosmos, we start to work with that energy and actually embody that energy, so that when you're taking action, so that when you're building something, so that when you're creating your life the way you desire, and yet you feel like there are so many things that you have to work through, you know, all the old paradigms, the conditioning, your ancestors' wounds, the DNA, whatever it is that you call them in that old paradigm, which I'm going to dive into shortly. When you come from the context of knowing that you are a mini version of the cosmos, actually you are the cosmos, but that's a bigger conversation for another day. When you know that, you know that you are so much more than the situation here right now that feels impossible for you. Hi, Jamie. We are incarnated souls from the cosmos, indeed. Yeah, that's right. And we just the one thing that really gives me so much fire and passion to do my work is that I want you to really feel that. I want you to feel that in your body. I want you to feel that even on days when you feel sad, even on days when you feel completely bowled over and feeling like, I just can't deal with life anymore. Because it is human for us to feel that. It is human for us to feel disappointed or sad or even to move through grief. And when I bring up the word grief, please do let me know, have you moved through grief before? Or is that word something completely foreign to you? Or is that something you don't even want to go to and touch even? You know, it's something you just don't want to touch at all. Because truly, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my experience, and I'm going to tie them all up in a big, beautiful bowl for you today. Connecting with ancestors and moving through grief was something that I kind of just very accidentally landed on. Let's be honest, I'm very, very transparent. When I first started holding space for tea and with other clients in a bigger immersion and also in the mini version of all my tea ceremonies, just hosting them and holding space, I started to hear a lot of feedback about, oh, I felt my mother's presence, or I heard my ancestors talk to me. I saw my ancestors, but I don't know who they are, but I saw them. I started to actually take heed. I started to realize that, oh, maybe there is something here that I haven't actually acknowledged the full potential and the full power of. And when we move in the tea ceremony, the extent of the work that we do is not a forced energy. I never force the spirit to come through. The spirit herself, tea spirit herself, will come to you as the guest through me, the vessel. And whatever insights or downloads you get, it is at the space where you're ready and prepared to hear. And so if that version, if you are meeting your ancestors, if you are seeing things, like you feel your loved one's presence, these are things that you were ready for. And they are actually the conduit, the portal, the gateway to open you up even further into deeper work. Because now what we're talking about, really, we're actually diving deeper into a space that is truly, truly liminal. It goes beyond logic. It goes beyond a specific structure or a specific symptom. We're talking about healing at a very, very deep level. And when we start to untie those beautiful strings of the unconscious, we will inevitably meet grief, because grief lives in all of us. Nowadays, when I walk down the street, I look at each and every person and I see grief. And I wonder, what grief is it that you are carrying with you that you haven't met yet? And it isn't a very, it's not an energy of, hopelessness that I see this with. It is an energy of hope and power. And I say this because the minute we're able to move through our grief, we are actually reconnecting with our ancestors so deeply that you will never ever feel lost ever again, because now you feel the guidance. You actually feel the guidance. You feel the connection in every fiber and bone of your being. And of course, whatever that is used to create our fiber and bone at the very, very beginning, we just really unravel our whole body, is just that cosmicness, nothingness, that void where everything began. And so connecting with your ancestors is not just something you say and you do with an altar, or that you pray to on days when you need guidance. You pray to them because you need salvation. Neither is it something that you need to heal. And this was something that was shown to me very clearly, not just in my meditation, but also in my work with a beautiful mentor, that really our ancestors, once they cross over to the spiritual realm, there is nothing like anger or resentment that resides in them anymore. If you feel the residual energy of anger or resentment or sadness, that is an indication, I truly believe this, it's an indication to look within yourself to really see what is it in you that you haven't processed just yet. And I want you to know this, your ancestors are always so proudly watching you every step of the way. They are cheering you on. Their past do not bring you down. Contrary to so many beliefs out there, it's not bringing you down. And I'm just going to take a moment here to just make sure the music is not too loud and it's causing Facebook to shut me down. So I'm just going to turn this off. Okay. So if you all have any questions about connecting with ancestors and moving through grief and anything that's coming up for you while we are speaking, oh Jamie, I feel you so deeply, and what a beautiful journey you must have been on when you were moving through your grief. And I just want to put it out there and say that grief doesn't necessarily come from just losing a loved one. Grief comes in all shapes and forms. Grief can be even just something that you lost within yourself. You know, one thing that is coming up so deeply right now is the concern of younger generation who are grieving, but they don't know what grief is even. They don't recognize this feeling. They don't recognize this emotion because they're so good at numbing themselves. And this is something not just even for the youth of our generations, it's really everyone pretty much, you know, we're so good at that. We're so good at pretending to be something, right? We have examples all around. We can just turn on social media and then we'll see something and then it will teach us to be something, and then we can pretend to be that something for a while. And then the minute we shut the camera off, we go back to ourselves, we feel empty, and then we start to feel that cave up with things that don't even mean anything to us. And the vicious cycle goes on. And so this is something I really, really want to share because I have been there myself. You know, for the longest time, I grew up feeling completely lonely. From the earliest memory I've ever had, I remember feeling lonely. I remember feeling like I'm all alone in the world. And I grew up with that feeling within me. I grew up choosing to be the black sheep. I grew up choosing to believe that people don't understand me, and therefore like I don't need to really even try to look within myself why I felt that way, because I just thought, you know, that's how it is. And then I just kind of suppressed it with more and more looking outward to get the love that I thought I needed to stop that feeling, looking outward to get the validation and the approval to make me feel better. You know that feeling? It's like, you know, I woke up and then I started going around and then someone just came out and hit me out of nowhere and then my whole day is ruined, right? That is the feeling of completely putting your energy outward, not here. It's not on you. Your energy is completely outside of you. And another thing I hear so much is like, and I used to do this. And that's why I feel so fired up about this. Is like when you say things like, oh, I don't know, I need a sign about whether I can really, do this. Like, I feel like my life is going nowhere. I need a sign. And that is again an energy of putting your life into something else's hands. It's not being the creatress of your life. You're not claiming your creator's power when you say that. And that means anything, everything can happen to you instead of for you. Don't forget this, my love. You are the creatress. You are creating, and you are the creation. This is the core of the work we do in the Siren Goddess. If you join me in the Siren Goddess, I always talk about this. We are three things together, all at the same time. We are the creatress creating a creation. So we are the creation. This is our reality. This is the dimension we're living in. We are creating this reality. I'm creating this reality. I'm talking to you right now. I'm creating, and the creation will be this live video. Let's just put it that way. I am the creatress. I decided I want to come here and talk to you very earnestly and honestly about connecting with my ancestors. It is a very minuscule and a very micro example, but I want you to understand that every single thing you do in your life, you have the choice to really decide how you want to create it. It is so simple, and yet we all fuck it up by overthinking what exactly this whole situation is, and we give our power away when we believe that we don't have a control over the situation. A control over the situation is when we create from our authentic power, when we create from our heart and say, I can truly say with hand on heart that this is exactly what I wish that this situation would be. One of the examples I truly give all the time is that when I'm holding space for my clients, I always come as a crystalline vessel. That means my work every single day when I'm not meeting my clients is to clear the shit out of my own vessel. What is going on in me? What is going on in my personal life? What is going on in my business life? I need to look at them. I really look at them, even when it's really ugly and I don't like looking at them. And you know what? I do have my human moments when I don't want to look at them. But eventually, because I work from a bigger context, which is I'm a cosmic being and I'm a cosmic light leader. So as a light leader, as a goddess, how would I act, and what would I need to believe in so that I act in alignment with that context? Once I set myself up in that space, I don't look back. I come from a place where I deeply desire to hold immense space for my clients and allow them to rise. And this is what I want you all to understand. You have the power to stand in your vortex of stillness, and everything else will rise up to meet you. You don't have to stoop to that level for them to understand you or to get you. How does this connect with connecting with ancestors? So one of the things that really happened for me was that when I started to really initiate myself into the role of a Chadao ceremonial keeper, I started to have all these really amazing encounters in my meditation, in my insights and downloads. And then in reality, I started to have, my mom started calling me up. My mom started to show me a lot of things that she found that are all related to tea, that my grandmother, my late grandmother, who have passed away many, many years already, I think at least 10 years ago. And she started to find them, and they were coming up all the time. Even this past couple of months ago, about in June, oh, actually August, when I went back home, a lot of those teaware and also tea stage props started to come through. And so I know that I received them. I received them with so much love, and I started to get really curious that I realized that my ancestors actually have a very deep connection with tea as well that I have never realized growing up. And so I started to feel into that connection. But I still had this feeling that I'm so lonely in this world. I feel like everyone was falling away in my life because I was doing a lot of work. I was rising very rapidly in my energy level, and in that process, I always tell my clients this as well. I'm going to tell you this. There will be people falling away from your life. Either they can't meet you at your energy level, they can't match you at that level just yet, or they were just never good for you. And so I had to come to terms with that. But then inside of me, I felt, as a human, I felt really hurt. I felt really like the impact of what's happening in my life as I was rising and rising in my power was also impacting the little child in me who remembered for her longest life ever that she was alone. And so I had to really look inside of myself and really ask, what exactly is going on here when everything in me seems to be supporting me in my journey? And what came through really was a divine connection, reconnection actually, like a real feeling of connection. Not just a knowing, because I was at a level of intellectual knowing that I am connected with my ancestors, that I know that they are connected in some ways with this beautiful journey that I'm on. But it was when I felt that in my body, I felt it in my heart, I felt it in my sacral, I felt it in my root, and I felt it in my cosmic body. It was in that moment that I saw and I felt and I feel them all the time now, because I anchored that feeling in that I am connected to my ancestors, that my ancestors want me to do this. They are rising and they are guiding me and they are always with me. And the minute I open myself up as the gateway, I feel them come through. They will come in immediately. And I will continue to cultivate me as the space for these beautiful sacred energy to rise, to come in. And one thing that came through for me today to share with you is that, you know, if you forget how big you really are, if you forget how cosmic you really are, just look at all the temples around the world that were built so many centuries ago. They were built to resemble the human body. They were built to resemble you. You are a sacred temple. If you are really curious and you want to learn all these beautiful things, I actually touch on them in Siren Goddess, the Pearl. It is something that goes beyond a conversation we can have here, because it's about learning about the sacred geometry of who we are and then connecting with that energy. And it's so beautiful to see that ancient wisdom come through us, because these ancient intellectual property, they don't mean anything until we infuse them with our spirit. We carry them with reverence. We come into harmony with them. And that is what it means to have wisdom. Wisdom is really a language of the cosmos that we translate with our body. We translate with our feeling. That is wisdom. And we tend to forget that because these things are thrown around so often in the world that we live in, that it's lost its meaning. It's lost the real feeling of what it is to be connected with our ancestors. And so When I say connecting with your ancestors, it doesn't have to even be people you actually know. It can go back in so many timelines and even beyond this planet. And so that is the exciting thing. But what does that even mean for you? Well, I can tell you that I've had clients who reconnected with their loved ones, feeling at peace, moving through grief in the most alchemical way because they confronted that grief in a very peaceful and gentle way. Yes, there may be tears, but tears come because those emotions had to be felt. Tears come when that trap door that was shut between your conscious and your subconscious mind start to creak open, because now you're actually feeling again instead of numbing yourself. So I want you to really feel into what I'm saying here, because I'm not here to tell you, oh, you've got to work with tea and it's going to be fucking amazing because you're going to do all these things. It is, but it begins with your willingness to actually say, I'm ready to connect. I'm open to all possibilities. I'm ready to allow myself to rise. I'm ready to say, I'm not the victim of my life anymore. I'm not going to sit around and wait for signs to tell me that I'm doing it right. Because these signs, they are just evidence you're waiting to see so that you know you're doing the right thing. But big energy, big cosmic magnificence, it blows your circuits. It doesn't even require evidence. You don't wait for evidence to tell you it works, because that evidence, when it comes, is a manifestation. And it's manifested based on the energy that you used to manifest that. And one of the big things, the big mechanisms that people use to numb themselves is like, oh, I don't want to dream because I would never get it. Or that, well, I expected that. I wasn't disappointed because I kind of expected that I would be disappointed. So I didn't put any expectations on it. So you are expecting to live a mediocre life. So you're just in between all the time because you don't want to be amazing and you don't want to live all the way out there fully. What kind of life is that? You know, there are people who choose to live that way. I respect that. But if you're here, you're listening to me, I believe that you're not actually going to settle for that. You're not. And truth be told, every single human being is not meant to settle on mediocre. No. But again, it's free will. We get to choose how we want to live. And so my life completely transformed when I decided to open myself up to really fully embracing this cosmic magnificence. It's the same for all my beautiful clients. You can see their testimonials, you can read from them. But that doesn't mean they don't get moments when they feel sad. That doesn't mean that they don't get moments when they feel like, oh, I don't know where I am at right now. I don't know who I am. My life is disintegrating at this moment and I don't know what's next. It doesn't mean that way, because it is foolish for us to think that we have reached some kind of peak in our lives and we will never go back into a sad moment. Because the greatest stories are written from those moments when we felt truly sad, heartbroken, angry. And it is those stories that make us feel. It's like, yes, I am inspired. And every story you read from your ancestors, just have a moment and think back. What was it that landed for you deeply, that inspired you? It was a moment when they rose from poverty, perhaps. It was a moment when they lived in an inadequate situation, but now look how far they have come in your generation. You carry the torch forward. How would you like to carry that torch? So I'm not here to tell you how you can live in that, exalted position and state of where you truly become like totally unattached from feelings. I'm here to tell you how to feel, truly how to utilize your feeling body so that you can begin to dismantle the subconscious dissonance that are holding you back from really living your life, and release all those protective mechanisms that you're carrying right now. That is how it feels to be truly connected. And that is when you start to connect with your ancestors and draw energy and power from that source. Because then you're really not working alone. Whether you're a mystic or a healer or a witch, a goddess, whatever you are, you know that you're moving through a feeling, and you will not be taken out by just that moment of feeling, because now you know you're bigger than that. You're so much bigger than that, and you're so much more supported than you think you really are. So my love, today I want to tend to your grief. I want to honor your connection with your ancestors. And I want to send you so much love. You're so welcome to reach out, DM me. I want to hear from you. I want to hear what landed for you, where you're at, if you need support, if you want to work with me. Because I really want you to know this. I want you to want it. I don't want you to need me to save you. I want you to want this so that you know you don't have any fear in investing in yourself. You're committed. You're saying, this is for me and I'm going to do this work. Then let's come and co-create that divine life that you truly are born to have. Because you are already worthy. Just as you are. Make that leap. Do it today. And see how far you can fly in such a short span of time. Sending you so much love, Samhain blessings, and I'll see you very soon.